self-pub authors are hacks and trad pub authors are sellouts and like, whatever. Like, and then as like I was like, wow, the mindsets have really changed. Like, I don't really see that anymore. And then I was like, oh no, maybe I'm just like running with a cool crowd. Like
Hello, folks, and welcome to Author Adjacent, a show about the journey from hobbyist writer to professional author. I'm your host, Michael Vadney, author of Crownfall, a noble dark fantasy. But today we have returning guest, MJ Kuhn. Welcome back to the show, MJ.
Hello. I'm so excited to be back.
I'm excited to have you. Unfortunately, people, if you want to catch us in our matching shirts, you got to go to last week's episode where we were digging deep into Killswitch Protocol, your newest book, which is coming out. I'm very excited for it. I talked a lot about that, and if you want to see all that hype, go check out the previous episode. But for this one, we're going to be digging a little bit more into, MJ, your transition from traditional publishing to indie publishing and the new road that you're exploring with hybrid publishing. I'm very excited for it.
Me
it's going
too.
to be a good time.
I'm stoked. I'm stoked to talk about it. I'm stoked to do it.
I'm excited to hear about it too, because this is something that I've been hearing more and more that authors are going for, and it's definitely something that I'm interested in to the future. So let's get right into it then.
Let's do it.
Your first two books, Among Thieves and Thick as Thieves, both came out with Simon & Schuster, Saga Press imprint. But Killswitch Protocol is now going to be an indie published novel. You have your other indie published, which is your SFF Addicts or SFF Bible. Oh my God. I always stumble over all the letters.
I was going to say, I've made it a tongue twister. It's fine.
That's all right. I am susceptible to those. But Can you walk us through a little bit of the timeline of that decision? Was going indie something that you've been considering for a while, or did something specific happen that went, you know what, I'm going to make the change?
Yeah, I think it's, I've been considering it for a while. I think that part of, it's a multifaceted answer to what made me make the change. One, if we're imagining like, I don't know, big Venn diagram of all the different elements, and in the middle is like MJ goes indie. One of the circles is definitely doing the SFF Addicts podcast and meeting so many incredible indie pub authors that are doing it well, and seeing how the sausage is made, right? Through how they are approaching the indie sphere, because it's an intimidating space to enter. Not in terms of like the authors are intimidating. Everyone is lovely and nice, but like it is intimidating to release a book into the ether without the blessings of the trad pub engine. Another of the circles was my trad pub experience. Not that it was like awful, but just it's slow. It's very slow, and the more I think about it, the more I'm like, well, I don't dislike the trad pub space. I don't discount it at all. I just think that for some situations, I just wanted a little more control over timeline specifically. I mean, you get control of everything in indie, and I know some indie authors, like our mutual friend Adrian M. Gibson. One of the reasons he went indie is he really it was important to him to have creative control over the visuals of the entire book, and the idea of giving that up was really not tolerable for him, which with how visually artistic he is totally makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I lucked out with Among Thieves and Thick as Thieves. We got Chris McGrath for the cover art for those through Saga. I mean, like, I have no complaints about like the book production piece of the puzzle. Really, the only thing I was like, I wish I'd had more control over this was timing. And so that experience kind of made me go, well, with indie, I would get control over that timing. And then I think the third circle in our little weird Venn diagram that I'm describing here is just market awareness. Right? Knowledge, just being in the book community through the podcast, through attending cons, through being in, I'm in like 4 different author discords with various people. You know what I mean? You're kind of marinating in the market, and you're learning what kinds of things readers are going for in trad, what kinds of things readers are going for in indie. And, stuff people are succeeding with, stuff that's floundering, and it gives you a little more confidence because so I was looking at the patterns of things, right? And I had a bunch of finished manuscripts. I'm sitting on 3 of them right now. And I'm looking at the patterns and the writing on the wall that I'm seeing from the market knowledge that I have. And I went, I think cyberpunk is going to have a moment maybe in the indie space. Like, I think the moment is starting. And I think that if I take the cyberpunk book I've already written and I zhuzh it up a little bit, I give it an edit, which I did last year. I gave it a full top to tail edit with a lot of new insights and stuff. I think that this could be my indie moment, so it's just kind of all of those things coming together to make for the ultimate decision that I made last fall to just like full send, let's go.
I love that. So a lot of authors like have this moment then, like especially in like traditional publishing or just publishing in general, where your dream comes true and you're holding that book in your hand. When you first held Killswitch Protocol, like the proof, something that you had produced 100% under your own power, you found the people that put all of this together. Did it feel different?
You know what? It totally did. And I think there's a couple reasons why. I think the first is just like, I say this a little tongue in cheek, but a little not. I'm like a little dead inside now. Like, after spending, I signed the contract for Among Thieves in 2019. So I've been like in this industry in the throes and the waves and the craziness of it for 7 years. So like, there's just like a certain part of you gets a little desensitized to like, it's good when you get desensitized to the things like bad reviews or getting hate online. Like, that's great to get desensitized to that. But you do also, the flip side is you get a little desensitized to the joyful moments too. So I like cried the first time I held Among Thieves in my hand. I didn't cry with Killswitch Protocol. But I think being desensitized was part of it. I also think that it's kind of like with a trad pub book, it's almost like, I'm going to use a really weird metaphor here, so bear with me.
I'm here for it. Let it ride.
It's like you haven't seen a friend in a year and they've had a glow up and you see them and you're like, oh my gosh, you look amazing. You're glowing. You look incredible. Your hair, your whatever. Oh my gosh, you look so healthy. Whatever the case is. Whereas with an indie book, it's more like you had the glow up. So it's still enjoyable, but you were there every step of the way.
Yeah.
So it's less surprising when you see the end result. So I do think that's a part of it too. Not just, I was delighted. I was thrilled when I got my copy of Killswitch. Like this is the first, copy that I ever held here. And,
it's a beautiful
just
book.
Perusing all of the gorgeous, interior design details that, Adrian M. Gibson added for us, and the beautiful cover from Katerina Belikova. Gorgeous book. But it's just it's a little bit different because you've seen all the inner workings at the point that it's produced. It
is less shocking, and I will say, as fellow 75 hard veterans, we understand that at the end, it is satisfying to be there, but you're also really fucking tired.
You're very tired. You're very tired, and you're ready for a nap and a cheeseburger.
Yes, and a beer or something.
All of the above, all in the same evening.
I'm ready to binge.
Yes.
But no, that was it. That was an accurate description, because like even with Crownfall, which is my first book, and I've been very excited for every stage of it. It is like, you see every single iteration of it. You see all the steps that it took to get you there. So while it is exciting, it's not the surprise and the shock of a friend comes around the corner and they suddenly have blonde highlights.
Right. 100%. Yeah, it's not opening maybe it is? It's not opening a Christmas present on Christmas morning. It's opening the package that you ordered online. It's still really exciting.
Yeah.
It's just you already know what's in there.
Yeah. That's a really good way to put it, though, because like you're excited for it to get there.
Coming with all the metaphors today, baby.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. 100%. So what are some of the things with traditional publishing that they did for you that you miss most going into indie publishing on that side? And on the flip side, what is something that you were very excited to get to do yourself?
Ooh. You know what? It's weird. I feel like it's the same answer for both, because I would say the aesthetics of the book. So it was a lot. I am not a visually aesthetic person. Like I am not visually artistic, literally at all. It's it's a challenge. Like putting together outfits is my kryptonite. Like I don't have like whatever that skill is of whatever it's visual art. So the idea of trying to put something like that together was incredibly daunting. Now I lucked the heck out by having the 1-2 punch of Katarina and Adrian, because with both of them it was a very collaborative process. With Katarina, I saw sketches at every step of the process, and she would be like, okay, is this the direction we want to go, and is this what we want, and do we want the text here, and la la la. So I still got to be part of that process, but she had it so dialed already that like what she was giving was like so close from the first or second iteration that from there it was tweaking, right? Which I can tweak. I can do the little tweaks. I can do the little zhuzhing, but I can't do from 0 to 1 with art. And then Adrian, same thing, where I would just be like, I don't know, I kind of want like a glitch effect here, or like circuits coming down or something. And that's like very vague. And then he takes that and runs with it, right? So I got very lucky working with both of those wonderful artists to take over that. But yeah, it was very nice to not have to worry about that at all with the trad pub stuff, because like I don't know. The furthest I got, like literally the only decisions I made for Among Thieves and Thick as Thieves cover was the first one. They gave me that cover design that is Among Thieves in gray and in blue, and I said I like the blue one. That's literally it.
I think you made the right choice.
I think so too. It's so pretty.
A blue baby is prettier than a gray baby. I'm just saying.
100%. It pops a little more. And then for the second one, the only thing I said was, okay, I think, well, the first one is the cover is the opening scene of the book, so I think maybe we should do that again, and maybe it could be green. And that's literally all I gave them.
Nice.
So yeah, very little involvement with the artistic vision for those two books. So that is my answer. It's the part I missed the most, and also the part that was the coolest to have as part of the process. Maybe that's a lesson for me, a growth moment, that the parts that I'm the most scared of are the parts I should pursue or something.
Well, it's also Adrian and Katarina are very talented at what they do. They're very trustworthy you can just give them an idea and they will run with it. Like how you were describing your experience working with them, 1-to-1 for mine as well. Because I just sent Katarina, like, this is kind of what I'm thinking. These are some details for you. And she just ran with it. And I think I only changed one thing. Like I changed one pose of one character, and that was it. And besides that, I was just like, yeah, just keep it coming. You're doing great.
Like that's it. Honestly, I think we changed the same thing, because I mean, not the same character, but I changed the pose and like the positioning on the arm on the other one. But that was like literally like, so slight character blocking changes, but otherwise I was like, no notes. I had Amara. She was at first holding a sword like this on the cover, and I'm like, no, it's more like this, because she just gave like a speech, and it's just like kind of moment. Not I'm going to stab you. It's a it's
get
victory.
Ready. Exactly. But yeah, working with both of them was super easy, and then again working with Adrian, it was just I didn't really know what to do with the interior, the exterior design. Like you, I don't have those skills, but he was really good about being like, all right, let's try this. Here are some options. This is what I think we should do. Just both of them are so great to work with. Like if you have the capacity and the budget to do so, highly suggest both of them.
100%. Very collaborative, very skilled. Yeah, I would recommend them both as well.
Yeah, if you need more examples, you can also check out A Murder Most Fungal, which is also coming out around now.
Right?
Just that duo is just getting tight.
100%. They're going to be like taking the indie world by storm.
I'm ready for it. Right. So indie publishing does mean that you have to do a lot of the things that you weren't doing before. Which of those hats like came naturally to you, especially with your marketing day job background that you have? And which ones felt like more of a steeper learning curve? I know we talked a little bit about like the visuals and trusting Adrian and Katarina. What else was there?
Yeah. So the ones that came easiest, I mean, marketing it myself. It's part of the reason why that's come easiest is because like, I mean, I do marketing in my day job. I do like a B2B, very utilities marketing. I mean, it's very, very dry marketing that I do in my day job. But I do, whatever. It's the same like muscle memory to some extent. But I also, though, like when you are a mid-list author, you are still doing the lion's share of the marketing yourself. When you are a trad author. Now that is not at all to disparage like the publicity teams that I had at Saga. They were great. But it's just, you don't get a lot of the dollars, if you're not the big name. So, they were doing the marketing to like bookstores and stuff, which is something that I've had to try to do on my own in a very small capacity to some indies. But, you don't have the same ability to like list stuff in those bookstore facing publications. But otherwise, like in terms of booking myself at conventions and booking myself on podcasts and doing my own social and, managing all of those things, running my own giveaways. I was doing all of that myself before. So that was not that heavy of a lift to walk. I mean, it's a heavy lift, but not heavier than it was before. In terms of the most challenging, I would say that, and then the editing piece of the puzzle. Like I had to find my own editor, which honestly ended up being really smooth and really great. I ended up working with Kat Howard, who I met. She's fellow Saga Press author. And I'm a big fan, So I was like, okay, well, and then I saw the editing services tab on the website and I was like, yes, please. But yeah, super reasonable rates and really, really solid work. So that worked out really well. But that's an intimidating piece as well. I think for me, the biggest hurdle wholesale has been confidence. Not that I'm not confident in the book. If I wasn't confident in the book, I wouldn't even be, having this conversation with anyone. But it's scary, right? Everything is in your own control. There are checks and balances in that I hired editors and I went through beta readers and I've had it with early reviewers and whatever. So there are checks and balances in that regard, but they're all checks and balances I put into place, right? So it's like ultimately it all still filters back up to little old you, which is intimidating. It's scary. So hopefully folks enjoy the book when it comes out. But if you are like looking to get into indie, I would say sit down at the beginning, and it's kind of what I did, where it's like, okay, what will I need to have to feel comfortable releasing a book? And for me, it was like, I need to hire a professional editor. I need to work with an interior designer and cover artist. Like I'm not doing any of that myself. Like for myself, some people do it themselves, but like for me, like this is what I needed to feel okay. You know what I mean? And I need to have a bunch of like early reviewers that I trust and know will read it and let me know before it comes out. Like if like pull the plug, and
yeah, you don't need a bunch of yes men.
Yeah, that's exactly the thing where it's like people that like, yeah, hopefully they'll be nice about it, but they'll tell you if it's like, ooh, this actually like, this is something you shouldn't be releasing because of XYZ. Yeah. So yeah, if you're like nervous and whatever, that helped me a lot and has helped me a lot because I'm like, okay, these are the hurdles I need to overcome to feel comfortable and feel like I'm producing a worthy product, a product that's worthy of the price tag I'm putting on it. And I'm going to just do all those things. And then here we go.
Yeah, that is really like the big double-edged sword of indie publishing is like, yes, you have all of the creative control. You can do everything, but you have to do everything. There's literally no one else. And it's very intimidating. Yes, you can get other people. You can hire an editor. You can hire an interior designer and a cover artist and all those things. But you still have to go out there and vet them and making sure that you're picking someone that's affordable to you and is going to deliver something that's going to accurately represent your book.
100%.
And that's so scary. It's very intimidating, like you were saying, because especially when you're doing it for the first time, even moving from traditional to indie for the first time and doing it all then, you're very scared of doing it wrong, about making a mistake that won't be fixable. And there are many mistakes you can make, and you're going to make some of them. But luckily, again, it comes back to like the writing community and just having all these other people who are more experienced and willing to just spend their time with you. That is always available to you. I can't harp on it enough how important it is for people to be part of the community.
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah. Or some community, right? Like even
Yeah.
if it's just a local writers group or,
Yeah.
you know, a group of 4 people that you met on Discord playing whatever, Baldur's Gate, and now you all
Yeah.
write. Like whatever your community is.
That sounds like a dope group. Just
right?
say it.
I know. I was going to say, can I join? Actually?
Yeah, I'm saying you guys got room in that party.
I've got a really, really great druid character. I can just like slot right in. But
There you go.
but yeah. Anyways, I couldn't agree more. Like you gotta have some people in your corner, but like also for sanity checks. Yeah.
Yeah. So getting like a little spicier with these questions, then there is a lot of like persistent myths in some corners of the writing community and in the indie community just in general that trad doesn't really offer you things anymore. And on the flip side, a lot of people saying that indie isn't really worth it anyways because it's not really up to par and snuff. As someone who has now done both, how do you push back against those narratives?
Yeah, it's so funny because I remember when I was first coming on like the writing scene back in like 2014, 2015 when I first started like writing seriously. That I remember seeing so much of that discourse, right? Like self-pub authors are hacks and trad pub authors are sellouts and like, you know, whatever. Like, and then as like I was like, wow, the mindsets have really changed. Like I don't really see that anymore. And then I was like, oh no, maybe I'm just like running with cool crowd. Like like I think that's like really, because I do think that there is still some of that out there. Depending on, you know, what circles you end up interacting with on especially on the internet. I don't know. I mean, I think, hey, any path to publication can be the wrong one or the right one. It just depends on how you approach it, you know? I do think, I mean, it is entirely possible to get taken advantage of in traditional publishing and to sell away your soul and end up with nothing on the table. That is one of the chief reasons why I strongly recommend anyone that is pursuing TradPub get an agent. I don't care if your dream publisher is a small publishing house that does not require an agent. You want an agent because the agent is going to look out for you. And they speak the legalese that's in all these documents and stuff that better than we can. So you want that protection, even if the publisher is going at it. Like, I'm not saying publishers are all predatory and they're trying to take all your rights away, but like it's a business. It's a business, and every business is trying to leverage as many rights as they can to make as much money off of the book as they can. So having an agent is critical if you're gonna do anything touching trad. So that's my like first piece of advice. But then yeah, with regard to indie being like whatever lesser than, here's the thing. I guess it could be if you want to just like barf out a book, not do even beta readers on it, and not make yourself a cover in Microsoft Paint and throw it up on, you know, KDP the same day. I mean, nothing is stopping you from doing that. And hey, I don't know your life. Maybe that book would be the best book ever written, depending on who you are and where your soul is, right? But if you're taking the steps, right, to treat it like a business, treat it like it's kind of a double-edged thing in indie pub where you have to, yes, you want to treat your craft like you are a master artisan approaching writing the book to make just like the most incredible book that you possibly can. And then you also need to approach it like the CEO of your own little mini startup that is going to be savvy and protect your rights and protect your margins and make good decisions on the business side of things to try to eke out some sort of living in this crazy creative industry. So I think that as long as you are doing your darndest to be a master artisan and trying your best to at least keep the business stuff in mind, any indie pub, I've read so many indie pub books that like I would never have known it wasn't a trad book had I not. There's some I didn't know until I looked it up later and was like, oh dang, okay. You know what I mean? It's like you don't know. And I think that's another thing is like so many readers don't know. You know what I mean? They'll pick up a book and like just buy it on a whim on Amazon or, you know, wherever, pick it up on Kindle Unlimited, and then they're just looking for a good book. So yeah, I don't know if that answers the question, but basically it's like you could go wrong or go right either path. It's just like how much of yourself are you going to put into it, and how much care are you going to take on the trad side? How much care are you going to take looking into what you're signing and getting the representation to protect yourself and your interests? And on the indie side, how much care are you taking in what you're producing and the career you're building for yourself?
In either case, you just have to be a strong advocate for yourself.
Yes.
Like, you have to protect yourself. There's so many things that can go wrong, and you can look out for these things by staying well informed, getting help when you need it, because you can't do everything and you don't have the expertise in everything. And that's true whether you are indie or traditionally published. Something that I wanted to bring back in, that I think you said it in last week's episode, was the difference between being like a writer and an author. And when you are a writer, that is the craft, that is the story, the joy of the art. But the author, that's a business owner. Like, and if you're going indie, you are a small business owner.
Yes.
Even if you're going traditional, you're kind of a small business owner too. You don't have as much as like the production and stuff that you have to worry about, but you are still the producer of a product, and you really have to think about it that way if you want a traditionally financial success that a lot of people are actively looking for. Whether they want to admit it to themselves or not, that's fine. But a lot of us want to be able to just write as a full-time job.
Oh my gosh, imagine. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm a sellout. But like, would I love to just be able to sit and write my fun little stories all day instead of having to, put my big kid pants on and write about like power systems? Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Sign
it
me
sounds
up.
great. But, so yeah, we do, we want to be compensated a little bit for all the work that we've done on our art.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
In order to get there, you do need to think about like yourself as a small business owner. How do I make this product succeed? And that's going to inform decisions like cover art and cover design and how you market your things. I don't think it's going to affect the story too much. Like, you can do that. You can write to market. There are people that do it. I don't. I can't write that fast. I don't know how they do.
Same.
But it is an option. I don't know. I'm just harping on that. I'll move on now.
No, I was going to say, well, even if we go to the cover art, right? Like, you can.
Yeah.
I love the business side where you have so much control over it. Like, I'm thinking of like an Andy Peliquin, right? Like,
he's such a perfect example of how he makes his covers.
Really great, like, business person, in addition to being an incredible, writer, the artisan side of things. But like, he has re-released several of his books with a new cover because the cover that was hitting with audiences when he first released the book in 20 whatever year, he was noticing in the numbers was not hitting with the audiences as much anymore. And he looks at the trends and he sees now in this, subgenre that the book is in, what covers are now looking more like this. So he commissions new cover art and re-releases the book out. And like, that's just very savvy and smart. And it is, honestly, it's the kind of thing that trad pubs do too. Like, if you look at like the original cover for something like The Hobbit, it's radically different from the cover that they're printing it with now. But it's also fun because in indie, that's something that you just can do. Like, you just have the freedom, as long as you have the budget for new art, like, you can just do that, which is really cool. So.
Yeah, it's always really cool to see an author kind of just rebrand themselves and rebrand their books and just watch like, oh, that's all it took. Like, it was a good story all along. It just took trying to get a more eye-catching appearance so that people could find it. And that's really like the biggest challenge that we're all dealing with. We're traditional or indie. It's just, we're just trying to get people to find our books.
100%. Well, that's what I was going to say. I always say there's two, there's more than that, but if we really like just simplify it, there's two elements to a bestseller. One is having a book that resonates with an audience. So like a good product, or a product that people like. Yeah. And the second element is those people knowing it exists. And a lot of times, so many books out there have the first one locked in. Like, I've read so many books that are radically underrated that I'm like, whoa, how is this book not everywhere? Because people just don't know it exists, So that's, we're in a big attention-based economy, and we're all just kind of
trying to eke out our little corner of it so that people know that we exist and can find our books and read them and hopefully love them.
Right, exactly. That's the dream. That's the dream.
Definitely. So one of the biggest things that authors cite as the difference between like trad and indie publishing is creative control. And we've talked a lot about that in this conversation so far. I am curious, are there any choices that you made with Killswitch Protocol that you don't think would have survived a traditional publishing?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I actually don't know. I don't know. It's possible. It's entirely possible. I think my impression of this is maybe a little like skewed because I had such light developmental edits. I know people in the trad pub space that have had like huge overhauls and stuff imagine how stressful. I just got lucky. I had very light developmental edits. I didn't really have to make any major plot changes to either Among Thieves or Thick as Thieves. The only thing I can think is, and this is just me making wild assumptions, is I have a cyberpunk novel, science fiction, and we have 3 older female POVs. Like all of our POVs in the story are female and over 30. So we don't have, like, we have characters like Emerson Quinn, our hacker character, is like a 24-year-old guy. You know what I mean? Like we have our younger characters. We have, characters of other genders. But just like, I don't know, I didn't even do it on purpose. But it was just the story. Like those were the POVs that we needed to tell the story that's happening. And I wonder if that would have been flagged as like something, you know what I mean? Like maybe we switch it up a little bit more. But I could, that's the only thing I could think of that off the top that I think might have. I mean, I think that I would have gotten nowhere near as pretty of an interior if I'd gone.
Yeah,
if I'd gone trad.
That's my thought for mine as well.
Just everything I was gonna say, like,
did on the inside,
having all this like fanciness. I don't think that. I mean, maybe, but I don't think I wouldn't have gotten a say in it for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if there's anything else that would have been switched up or flagged if it had gone the trad route.
Oh, it's an interesting thought exercise.
100%. You just never know, and that's the thing, because it's like the trad editors and stuff. I mean, yeah, they're looking for quality, but they're also looking for what they think is going to hit with whatever audience they're imagining for the book.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess it would depend heavily on, like, if they, in my head, I was thinking, okay, if they're going to try to target this book towards young male readers, you know what I mean? Having 3 older female POVs might be not a vibe, but which, as we know, like, I know a ton of dudes that happily read female POVs, but they're looking at trends. So yeah, I don't know.
I was just seeing posts on Instagram, I think yesterday or today, where it was just like, where are all my books with older POVs? Why is everyone 17? And I'm just like, they're out there. You got to find them. Yeah, they're out there.
Just got to find them.
Yeah. I'm not contributing to the problem. I'm sorry, but or to the solution.
Hey, we need all of the above. All right. We love our young, plucky protagonists too. We need all of them.
You need the spectrum. You need it.
We need diversity.
So the financial math of doing indie versus traditional publishing is completely different, especially with like the advances versus like royalty rates and the upfront costs versus like the long tail revenue that you try to do in traditional and everything. And I wanted to ask that, without giving numbers and specifics and stuff like that, how do you look at the financials of hybrid publishing? Like, is it something that you picture that might be more sustainable in the long run for becoming a full-time author?
Yes. So that is actually what I am putting all of my eggs in the basket of by pursuing this path. That's like part of when I was talking about the Venn diagram things in the beginning. I think the ultimate conclusion that I came to was, yes, I wanted to indie pub a book. And I thought that at the time, and I still think, obviously, that Killswitch was the one that I think is going to maybe resonate with the audience that's already reading indie, right? But the larger conclusion I came to with that trifecta of experiences and thoughts is that I think hybrid publishing is the only way to make a full-time author income if you are mid-list on the trad side of things, right? So on the trad side of the house, if you're the whatever, oh my God, I can't even think of terms anymore. But whatever, if you're the person that they have decided is going to get all the marketing budget, you can absolutely make a career off of just trad. 100%. Also, there's some other stuff, like if you just get a really massive advance, and then even if later they take your marketing budget down, you've already got the money. There's other, challenges in terms of your next book, and then like just the emotional feeling of that, for sure. But like, you can make at least a living. You could quit your day job, right? But if you get a small to moderate advance for each book that you publish, and then it sells, fine. Like that's for Among Thieves and Thick as Thieves. I got a small to medium sized advance for each book, and they've earned out and they're selling fine. I would need probably 10 more books that do exactly that to make a full-time income, assuming all of the books continue to sell fine the whole time, right? Which is like, that's just not sustainable, especially with the pace of trad publishing. It takes a couple years a lot of the times, or like if you have like a bit of a lull and you can't take a year off and whatever. However, if you are able to release a couple books, ideally, this is the ideal pie in the sky solution. You can release a couple of your books trad, you get some advances from that. That is a little bit of seed money that you then use to fund your indie pub projects. So you're able to get the great cover art, the great editing, put those out in the world. And now you're already in the black on those when they come out, right? Because you've just reinvested money you already made from books in them. And then you start making higher margins off of every copy sold of those books. And then rinse, repeat, right? I genuinely think that is, I guess maybe not the only path, but a really viable path to full-time author career if you are just a mid-list author on the trad side of things. I also think it's completely viable to make a full-time author career doing just indie. In fact, probably more than half of the author friends that I have that are full-time authors are wholesale indie authors, or started indie and like sold some rights off later and things like that. But like we're, fully in the indie camp. But yeah, that's kind of the hope, right? Is you have a little more control over with that model too, even if it takes like 2 or 3 years in between books on the trad side of your career. With the control that you have on the indie side, you can reliably know you're releasing a book every year. So say I release one indie this year, one indie next year, a trad one the third year, an indie, a trad, right? Like you can keep up that trying to stay on an annual publishing velocity way better and under way more control than if you were relying on trad alone. So yeah, anyway, that's my very long-winded answer that after doing some of the math, a lot of math actually for this liberal arts major, I did a lot of math for me. I have decided that I think it's a really viable path that I think could work really well for a lot of people, and it gives the opportunity for some of those books that just like, aren't on trend in the trad market, but still absolutely have a readership out there. It gives them their chance, you know what I mean, to find their audience without having to wait 10 years for it to be, on trend in trad. So
for it to cycle back into the zeitgeist
into the
of
trad
what they
zeitgeist.
think is going to work. Yeah,
exactly. Yep, 100%.
Yeah, I feel like classic fantasy is one of those things where it's like it's not really coming out in trad anymore, but there's a lot of indie people putting it out and people are eating it up.
And that's exactly it. Like, it's one of those things. I think that the two, we talked a little earlier about like some, the traditional animosity between trad pub and indie pub. And I think that the two can like totally live in harmony with one another, right? Like there are a lot of trends that are happening in like especially in horror and stuff in the trad market that I love. And I'm excited that that's a trend in the trad market, because then there's a ton of books that meet that I can eat up. But I'm also really excited that lit RPG and, high sword and sorcery, high fantasy are trends in the indie market, because I also love both of those things. Although I guess lit RPG is moving a little bit to trad, but it's, I can now eat up all of those things because both of these engines are kind of doing their own thing, but I'm sitting in the middle and I get to enjoy all of it as a consumer. So yeah, can be a win-win for everybody.
And no, that sounds awesome. And with your background in traditional publishing, and like you are like an international bestseller. Have you found that while promoting Killswitch Protocol and getting the engine running on your indie publishing, have you found that like your audience for your traditional books, are they coming over to your indie books, or is it too early to really say?
I think it's too early to say. I hope they are. I really hope they are. I've been getting some, good engagement on some of my social posts, and I know a lot of my follower base is from, has been with me since the early days. They transported over from Twitter with me when I fled Twitter for Instagram a couple years ago. I do think that some of those folks, I mean, again, they're engaging with the posts. I hope that eventually that leads to them checking out the book and then hopefully loving it. I think that there are a lot of differences between Killswitch Protocol and the Tales of Tomorrow. I mean, the most glaring of which is it's science fiction instead of fantasy. But I think like it's kind of like so I'm reading for the Fanfiatic book club right now. Plug for that. We are reading The Staircase in the Woods by Chuck Wendig right now for our June read. And reading that book, is it the same as Wanderers and Wayward and Black River? No, it's radically different. It's a whole different story. Is it still definitely a Wendig book? Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes it's like even though the character voices are very distinct and it's not like the characters all sound the same, but it's got that distinct Wendigness to it. So I hope that my books have that distinct MJ Kuhnness to them all, that would carry a reader through that enjoyed that element, I guess, of a past book.
No, I gotta imagine that it will. It's like people can see the very same thing with like big names like Brandon Sanderson too, because like most of his stuff is very like fantasy, but he's got sci-fi stuff too. And if you read both, you're still going to find Brandon Sanderson on the pages. And that's what's going to happen with MJ Kuhn with Killswitch Protocol versus the Tamor duology. I almost said trilogy.
Trilogy. Yeah. We'll just send people on a wild goose chase for the third book that doesn't exist.
The hidden third book. Right? The hunt starts now.
You really got to find it. It's, it's really rare.
It's you got to really reach back on that shelf.
It's a collector's item, actually. Like, get excited.
We're creating a lore around this
hidden
book
now. I love it. We're just trolling. It's great.
I'm very okay with it. So, wow, I cannot words. Encapsulating everything that we've really talked about today with indie publishing and traditional publishing and this hybrid approach that you are now approaching, what is the thing that you are most excited that's on the horizon that you're approaching right now?
I mean, right now I'm most excited for the release of Killswitch. I'm excited to see how people respond to it, how people like it. I'm excited, but I'm also, I guess there's one more thing I'm really excited for, and then I already have another book written and ready to go that I'm planning on releasing indie probably in 2027. So
nice.
Like, and just being able to just like, you know what I mean?
Whenever you're ready.
I can just do that. You know what I mean? Like I for that one, I haven't like hired my editor or cover artist or anything yet. Like I still have to do all of those steps. But like if I make the decision right now and say, next July, I'm going to release redacted next July, I can just do that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that is also something I'm really excited for. I'm excited to have, and at the same time, I just, to just drive home the hybrid thing, I just last night sent the latest manuscript of the next project that I'm hoping to take to the trad side. I just sent that to my agent. So it's like I'm excited to kind of dip my toes in both ponds and like just continue to take a little more agency over my own career through the stuff that I can release indie that I know there's an audience for, because the one that, spoiler alert, the one that was probably coming in 2027 is like, I call it my love letter to Tolkien. It is an epic adventure, high fantasy, sword and sorcery madness. So yeah, that's what I'm most excited for.
That's super exciting. Oh, you have so many cool things happening. I'm looking forward to all of them, and we will all definitely have to keep an eye on MJ and what you are doing for the future.
Thanks. I hope so.
Oh, yes. But we are nearing the end of our time on this episode. MJ, could you please tell the people where can they find you? Where can they find your books?
Yeah, you can find me mostly on Instagram at MJ Kuhn Books, all one word. You can also find me on the SFF Addicts podcast and the FanFi Addict Book Club show, both of which are on the FanFi Addicts YouTube channel. And then you can find me at mjkuhn.com, which is where you can sign up for my newsletter. You can follow me on social there, blah, 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 all the things. You can also pre-order signed copies of Killswitch Protocol on my website. And then you can buy Among Thieves, Thick as Thieves, and pre-order Killswitch Protocol if you don't want a signed copy. You can do all of that anywhere books are sold. So yeah, that's all of the things, I think.
Excellent. MJ, thank you so much for coming onto the show today.
Yes, thanks for having me. This is so fun and such an important topic for, the way the author world is changing right now. So,
and selfishly, I got to learn a lot about something I wanted to explore.
That's why we do the podcasts, Michael.
Exactly.
It's our secret.
Exactly. Don't tell the people.
As we say it on air.
But folks, remember, until next time, let's be author adjacent together. Have a good one. And we did the thing again.
We did the thing again. We're so skilled.